All right, guys, we got to talk about Xbox. More specifically, we got to talk about Obsidian. Because there was a rumor that was going around that Obsidian was going to be part of these massive layoffs. Now, honestly, you guys remember from my previous streams that I specifically stated that I think Obsidian was going to be safe. And it kind of goes against the ideology in a way because Obsidian is responsible for two of the biggest losers that Xbox has experienced over the last year or two. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video. They got completely destroyed on Avowed, and they got completely destroyed on Outer Worlds 2, right? Those video games alone lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Outer Worlds 2 got destroyed so bad in two ways. Number one, they wanted to charge $80 for that video game. And then I guess they must have realized that the pre-orders were so bad that they're like, you know what? Sorry, our bad. Due to market conditions that we told you about 2 weeks ago, the market conditions actually changed, and we're actually going to charge 70 instead of 80. I know that we told you market conditions is why it went up, but listen, guys, market conditions change in 2 weeks, so we're actually going to go down to $70 instead. And it still didn't do well, even at $70, right? So Avowed didn't do well, lost money. Outer Worlds 2 didn't do well, lost money. But at the end of the day, I still think Obsidian is safe, and here's the reason why. And it's because Microsoft, Xbox, PlayStation, all these studios that own other studios, or these companies that own other studios, or a lot of studios like Xbox and PlayStation or Sony, they care about the legacy. They care about what the name brings more so than the video games that are brought. So for PlayStation, it's Bungie, right? Bungie's getting subsidized and saved for the most part. Yes, they fired 300 people, but they definitely could have closed down the studio, considering that studio has lost so much money. It's actually disgusting. With Obsidian, it's the same thing for Xbox. Xbox cares more about being able to say what Obsidian has done in the past versus what they're doing now. At least that's how I see it. It's the same thing with EA and BioWare. BioWare has not made money for over a decade. I just want to make that very clear. BioWare has not made money for over a decade. If they've lost money, they lost money on Andromeda. They lost money on Anthem. They lost a lot of money on Dragon Age the Veilguard. And now they're on their last leg with Mass Effect 4 or 5, whatever the hell it's going to be called. They're on their last leg. If that new Mass Effect game does not perform, I think that's when they're toast. I think that's when EA is going to be like, you know what, we're done. Especially since they're about to go private, right? How do these clowns get paid? Well, that's the subsidization, right? So the reason why I always thought that Obsidian was going to be safe, even though Obsidian hasn't performed multiple times now, is because for Xbox, I think they care more about being able to say that they have the studio that created Fallout New Vegas. There is also rumors that there is a new Fallout New Vegas that's in the works, or maybe like a remaster or remake or something along those lines. There's rumors of that being worked on. So I think that's more important to them than, losing hundreds of millions of dollars on Avowed and Outer Worlds 2, right? But they just want to protect that particular studio because that's a legacy studio, right? That's really what it is. So they want to protect that particular name, and that's why Obsidian is safe. But the rumor was going around that they were going to be fired, right? Or shut down or whatever. It was spreading around like crazy. But apparently they are safe from that. So we're going to talk about this. And keep in mind, guys, within the next few days, because we're coming up to the weekend, after July 4th, that is when supposedly the chaos is supposed to happen. July 4th is on a Saturday. So when Sunday rolls around and Monday's here, by Monday, supposedly, that's where we're going to find out the insane amount of layoffs. So everybody's bracing for impact on whether or not that's true or not. But that's the rumors that are going around right now, that it's going to be Monday. Monday's D-Day, basically, for Xbox. So we'll see. Let's go down. Also, by the way, Grounded is the one thing that they released successfully. Grounded is a video game that does very well. Very well on Steam, especially. But unfortunately for them, it doesn't really matter how good Grounded performs. They lost too much money on Avowed and the Outer Worlds too. They just lost too much money. So it says, Obsidian Entertainment, the beloved RPG developer behind several cult classics. Oh, so now we're calling them cult classic games. They underperformed so much, now they're cult classic games. Is reportedly not under threat of closure despite fears that it was in negotiations with corporate owner Microsoft to avoid shutdown. Numerous reports have claimed that Xbox is planning to carry out mass layoffs, cancel an undetermined number of games, and close entire game development studios pretty soon. Compulsion Games from South of Midnight, Double Fine from Psychonauts, and Ninja Theory with Hellblade are a few of the developers reportedly negotiating to stay alive. A new report from the game business stated that Obsidian Entertainment is also part of that list and is currently in negotiations with Microsoft in order to avoid closure. Fears were that certain developers under Microsoft's gaming division could spin off and become independent, find new buyers, or simply shut down for good. But Jason Schreier now reports that Obsidian Entertainment is in fact safe from closure. He says, despite a report this morning, I can confirm that Obsidian is not in negotiations to avoid shutting down. Schreier writes on Blue Sky, plenty of details are still up in the air surrounding the layoffs. The picture will be clear on Monday, but Xbox is keeping Obsidian, according to people familiar with the situation. Now, here's the thing, though. All right, here's the thing. I just want to make we gotta differentiate, okay? Here is the thing. Just because they are safe from closure does not mean they are safe from layoffs. Is that fair to say? Right? So just because they're not going to be shutting down doesn't mean that they're not going to be hit with layoffs due to their failures. They very well may have to suffer layoffs. And I got to be honest with you, man. Obsidian is one of those studios that has a couple of people there, a couple of developers there that are just really insufferable people. Really insufferable people. And obviously the art director is one of them. Matt Hansen, whatever his name is one of them. Maybe we can send him to go be in the woods like he wants to be. Instead of McDonald's, he could probably go hug the bears or something. He already said he wanted to be replaced by a black person anyway. So, seems like a pretty easy layoff in my opinion. You can let him go, he'll be happy. You could fire him right now and replace him with a black developer, and he will be unbelievably happy. He said so himself. And he could go live in the woods like he said he wants to, you know? But Obsidian has some people there, man, that are just like, bro, you guys really don't like making video games. There's no way you could convince me that you like making video games and then you act the way that you act. There's just no way. I just don't see it personally. But apparently they are safe from closure, so that's one thing. Now, according to the article, Obsidian Entertainment itself has been an absolute powerhouse in the RPG genre for over 2 decades. The developer first made a name of itself by working on sequels that sometimes eclipse their older siblings. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Neverwinter Nights 2, Fallout New Vegas. You see what they're doing here? The journalists are doing the same exact thing that Xbox does with these studios. This is why they keep these studios. This is from the same studio where the director, who no longer works there, by the way, she ended up leaving to go work for Netflix Gaming. She ended up stating, and I'm paraphrasing, she stated that gamers should be expecting a level of jank in their video games. She legit said that if you're expecting essentially a well-made video game without jank, that you should not be expecting that. You should be expecting some jank in your video games. That's fucking that, bro. When I heard that, I will never forget that. I will never forget that phrase, because that's literally like the same, bro. That in my opinion, that translates into my brain as you should expect a broken game because we're gonna give you a broken game, and then we're gonna call it jank and pretend like you like it. You know, it's kind of one of the things that I had an argument with Leon many months ago during the whole like prior to Avowed releasing, where me and Leon were kind of arguing over like he likes jank. And I'm like, I don't like jank. He's like, oh, come on, but it was memorable. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's still a broken game. It's still a broken game. Anyway, so, I mean, look what happened to us on Griffcast last night. We were playing Lords of the Fallen, And at the end of the stream, we end up literally experiencing Lords of the Fallen. We both fell through the world. And we lost like 15 minutes of progress in a certain area. And you know how it is with a Souls game. You die, you got to go back and start that shit over. It was so annoying. And that game runs infinitely better than anything from Obsidian, which is kind of sad when you think about it. So, yeah, I never liked that. But that woman's not there anymore. She left. She works with Netflix Gaming. She's like a game director over there. So whatever. But people like Matt Hansen, who, bro, like you can clearly see that these kind of people that are higher up in position, they have influence. They have influence over their employees. And those kind of people, I think, are just a net negative overall. But they're going to be kept. They're going to be kept. Nothing's going to happen to them. After being acquired by Xbox in 2018, the iconic developer has been building its own franchises with Pillars of Eternity and Avowed, The Outer Worlds and its sequel, Pentiment, and the Grounded duology. Every game publisher under the sun has been chasing bona fide multiplayer hits, and Obsidian arguably made 2 of them with its survival game series in 1 console generation, no less. Needless to say, its closure would have been a huge loss. Elsewhere, the potential Xbox closures and internal turmoil come amid what CEO Asher Sommer calls a reset. Yeah, we need a reset. That's what we need. Netflix Gaming is a joke. Well, I don't even know what Netflix Gaming focuses on. I think they wanted to become a publisher for big AAA video games while also releasing mobile-style video games on their platform. Like, I know you can play video games on Netflix, I'm pretty sure, but it's all like mobile bullshit, pretty much. So it's nothing that anybody really is going to go to Netflix specifically for, you know? But again, guys, like Dante said, some of my favorite games are janky as hell, OG Gothic, for example. Again, like you can enjoy a janky video game, but my argument was like, just because you enjoy it doesn't mean the game is not broken, right? Like just because you enjoy jank or a janky video game doesn't mean that by definition, the game is not broken. Like the game is absolutely broken or has really bad issues, you know? All Netflix had was River City Girls and Sonic Mania. Oh, really? That's it. Okay. Well, there's that. So yeah, it's like Obsidian being saved. I feel like this is one of the studios that should be trimmed. This is one of the studios that absolutely should be trimmed, right? Like this studio probably has a lot of fat to it. It should be trimmed down and they should get back to business because look at this is what they like to do. They like to say from the makers of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, from the makers of Neverwinter Nights 2, from the makers of Fallout New Vegas. But they're not the makers because the people that made those games are gone. They're not there anymore. But this is why it's so important for Xbox or any studio in this exact predicament to keep a company like this. Because then they can say that. They don't want to be able to not say that is what I'm saying. It's very important for them to be able to say shit like this for their marketing. Those devs are gone. Exactly. They're gone. They haven't been here for a long time. So, but anyway, case in point, Obsidian Entertainment is safe, supposedly, and we're going to find out Monday exactly what's going on. So definitely stay tuned to gaming news because I have a feeling Monday's Hypnocast is going to be insane. The amount of layoffs that are happening is going to be wild, and I can only imagine what's about to go down. I can only imagine.